Hi everyone, just want to make a quick video. You're having issues with your vehicle, always killing the battery, especially when you don't drive it for more than 1 or 2 days. Your battery dies. Obviously you probably have one of these vehicles like mine. This one is actually a Range Rover, Land Rover. Keeps killing my battery if I don't drive it consecutively. If I let it sit for maybe more than 1 day, my battery will be dead when I go to crank it up. So this is a very simple fix. I pulled enough hair out trying to figure out what the actual electrical problem is. I'm thinking it's either the anti-theft is not going to sleep, or my airbag system is constantly leveling itself out. Like, as you can hear now, my air compressor is just running and trying to level the vehicle. As you can see, there's nothing wrong with the vehicle. It runs just perfect. Engine's nice and quiet. It just has electrical issues. You know, it's almost 20-year-old vehicle. Whether it's foreign or domestic car, if they have a lot of electronics and they have age, unfortunately, you know, the engines may have been designed to last forever, but the electronics were not. So this is my simple fix. I put a kill switch on my vehicle, which basically what it does, it just kills all the power to the vehicle once I turn the kill switch off. Right here's the kill switch. I'm going to turn the vehicle off so that you can hear what I'm saying. Alright, so here we are. The vehicle is turned off. Let's see. First of all, find a place to put the kill switch where it's not going to bother anything else or any other operation of any of the systems in your vehicle. I put mine right there. It's a lot of extra wiring, but the reason I put it there is because it's on my driver's side. I can see it while I'm driving. I can see it when I walk up to the vehicle, so I don't forget to turn the battery off when I get out of the vehicle. And basically what you're doing is you're interrupting the circuit of the grounding to the battery. That way all your electrical systems won't have any ground, so they will not operate. Even though the positive terminal is still connected, as long as you don't have that circuit going all the way back to the ground, none of your electrical equipment is going to work. So basically a kill switch is exactly what it's called. It kills the power. This is the underneath part of it. There's two. You see the two prongs where my wires are connected. The other two are my bolts where I actually mounted it to my hood. This is 4-gauge wire, and I just put tape around the edges and a little zip tie to keep that this flex cover from slipping down. And I just basically got 4-gauge wire. You can go down to 2-gauge, but it's really difficult to work with 2-gauge wire because it's not very flexible. Anything bigger, or I mean smaller in gauge, meaning the numbers go up, like 6, 8, 10, the higher the number, the smaller the gauge of the wire, the thickness of the wire. So the lower the number, the thicker it is. So this is a 4-gauge wire. 6 is just too, I'm sorry, 2 is just too firm, and it will not flex like I want it to. When I lower the hood, as you can see, it'll fall right into this gap right in there, and it won't bother anything else. And when I raise the hood, as you can see, it'll flex back up. Anything thicker than that, it's just going to give you an issue as far as where the wire goes when you lower your hood. If that's where you want to put it, you can always put it somewhere else, maybe up here somewhere where it's not going to be moving, and maybe bring it through this firewall or something like that. Or, you know, you can place it inside the vehicle and go through the firewall. There's many options. I just decided to go there. I was originally thinking of putting it right here next to the battery so I wouldn't have to use that much wire, but besides it being on the opposite side of the vehicle, I would have to actually, every time I want to turn it off, get out the vehicle, walk around it, turn the switch off, and then, you know, do the same thing when I'm getting back in the vehicle. At least on this side, as I'm walking up to the driver's side, It's right here next to me, and it's very accessible. So back to the kill switch. A kill switch is basically exactly what it says. It kills the power. Here's where I came through my hood, and right there's the kill switch itself. It actually has a key that comes out. You just turn it and it comes right out. That's where it's dead right now. There's no ground going into my circuits right now. When I put this back in it and I turn it, you'll hear it click. That has sent power, or has completed the circuit of the electrical circuit to make my electronics work again. Of course, it comes with a little cover, so when I take it off and it's gonna rain or snow or whatever, you know, I just cover it back up. I don't know about leaving this on here all the time, because I think it might just dry rot, and it's very flimsy plastic. It'll just probably just dry rot and fly away on me one day when I'm headed down the highway or something. So, but for now, it's right there. And I'll put it on there when the key's not in it, of course. The hardest part of this complete job was drilling through my hood, just for the simple fact that this Land Rover hood is not aluminum. It's pretty good steel. And what I did, I just took a 1/2-inch drill bit, drilled a hole exactly where I wanted it. As you can see, there's nothing, there's a void area right there where all my wires can just fall into, and it doesn't touch any important, or well, any other parts of the vehicle that could damage those wires. So that, I think that's a pretty good spot for this type of vehicle. This can be done on any vehicle, by the way. All right, so there it is. There's the kill switch. That's underneath of it. That red stuff coming out the bottom is just high heat silicone, just to keep the water from getting into my engine compartment. Basically, you just take your ground wire off of your battery terminal, or basically just remove the complete terminal. This is a new terminal I put on there. You remove your battery terminal, the original battery terminal, and it's all taped up now, but this is my original battery terminal with a wire, which is one of those wires coming from over there. It's coming right here, and it's connected to the original battery terminal. And I just taped it all up and zip tied it, and I just shoved it in the hole, just where I could find somewhere where it's not going to bother me in the future. So it's in there, and you take your battery terminal off of your battery. You hook up one wire to it, run it back over to the kill switch. As you can see, I just ran mine down through there, up through here, and those are the two shiny new flex lines that you see. Those are my wires. They run across the back there, zip tied it a couple places so it doesn't move around too much. Alright, and one of them goes in. So there's my battery terminal hooked up, and basically the kill switch works just like a light switch. Either it's on or it's off. So on the off position, you know, there's no connection, there's no circuit. Once you turn it on, the circuit is completed and power is generated back to your electronics. So the other wire comes out of the other terminal of the kill switch and comes right back down the same way the other one did, and it comes right back here, and I put a new terminal, new battery terminal, and hooked it up to the battery, and there it is. It's connected right there. One wire here, one wire going to the old battery terminal in there in that hole somewhere. And I didn't have to touch anything on the positive because it's not affecting it. As long as we're cutting the circuit off before it makes a complete circle, this will always work. It's easier always to use the ground wire because the ground wire has less connectors. If you can see my positive wire, there's a lot of different connections on there. I would have had to basically splice all those together and make them into one, and then come back to it. So it's easier when it's just one wire like that one. As you can see, this problem I had ongoing actually killed my battery. This is a new battery I just bought at Advanced Auto Parts because it kept draining it so much that eventually the battery wouldn't recharge. So that's basically it. That's the kill switch, and I'll show you what it does now. Alright, so here we are. I'm ready to put the kill switch, or turn the kill switch on. Turn it on, all of a sudden I've got power back in my vehicle. As soon as I open the door, my speedometer, you can see there's power. It says my sunroof is open. I shut it, you know, my horn's on, everything else is on, turning signals. Give me just 1 second, I'll crank the car up. There it is. As long as your battery's fully charged when you cut your car off, it'll still be charged by the time you come back in, unless you just, you know, if you leave it for a couple months or something. Of course, any battery's gonna die. It doesn't matter how new it is. It'll have some type of charge, but it may not have that that cold cranking amps that it needs to start your vehicle. So always make sure your battery's fully charged. You know, make sure you drive the car around for at least a good 30 or so minutes. Take it on the highway for a good 10 minutes or something, just to make sure that your battery is fully charged. You know, as you know, once your battery starts your vehicle, it's completely obsolete. You can actually remove your battery from the vehicle and your vehicle will still run, because the alternator is generating enough electricity for the entire vehicle. So that's it. I'll cut it off. As you can see, there's power going to everything. My keys is still in there. Now it's telling me my windows are not set. So all this that my computer is doing right now, you know, it keeps giving me all this information that I already know. But the problem is it keeps doing that all night long, and it eventually just kills my battery. So as soon as you can hear, that's my vehicle trying to level itself out, because the air suspension is trying to level out. So once I hit this kill switch and it's out, I'm done. My battery is no longer being utilized. As you can see, I'll open my door back up. Nothing comes up on my screen. My vehicle's not trying to level itself out. I stick my key in it. Nothing. Dead as a doorknob. Even as I try to turn my key, you know, it's not doing anything, because there's no power. As soon as I put this back on here, I put this kill switch back on here, you'll hear all kind of stuff come back on. I don't know if you saw that or not, but see, there it is, telling me the sunroof is open. So that's basically the gist of it, man. You know, if you're tired of pulling your hairs out, tired of your battery being dead when you wake up in the morning and you're late for work and you're having to jump it off, or you're having to leave a battery charger on it all night long just to make sure that battery's nice and fresh when you wake up in the morning, and you're tired of pulling your hairs out, and most of the time, by this time, the vehicle has aged, so there's no sense in spending thousands of dollars trying to find the actual fault, because, you know, the mechanic's gonna charge you, you know, $60–70 an hour to try to diagnose and find exactly where the vehicle is not turning itself off, or going to sleep, as they call it. So sometimes it's just not worth it. If you can live with, you know, with having to reset your radio stations, or having to reset your clock on your vehicle, if you can live without that, or without, you know, having to do that whenever you have to, not that anybody listens to radio anymore, but, you know, it's a minor thing for a bigger problem, and I think it's very effective. Like I said, the hardest part of this whole job was drilling through this hood, and it's because it's a very hard metal. The bolts that you saw underneath, right here's the heads to them. They're just holding my switch there. The other thing, whenever you mount your switch, you don't want, you want it, you know, going against the wind, like this so that the wind blows through it instead of the wind blowing against it. Because if the wind, if you're doing 300 miles down an hour going down the highway, it might just flip off or something. But you don't, you want it to be with the wind so the wind doesn't take it. The only way that's going to come out of there is if I actually turn it and take it off. All right, so here's the easy. Probably I may have spent $40 altogether. The switch itself was under 10 bucks. About 4 or 5 hours worth of work, just because I wanted to be tedious and cautious about it. I didn't want to drill a big hole in my hood and then, have water leaking all into the engine compartment. So take your time, make sure you do it right. Of course, the wires you can get at any auto parts store, or even Lowe's or Home Depot, anywhere where they sell any type of wiring, you can get it from there. All other parts, pretty much from the auto parts store. The battery terminal, they got wire at the auto parts store also. I just happened to be at Lowe's when I bought this. You'll have to get some flags, some of these little things here for your terminals. I bought a little set. Well, I bought two sets of these silver ones, and then I bought a set of 2 copper ones. The reason being because I saw that there's copper connections here. My wire's actually copper, so I know that there's not going to be any issues with different types of metals expanding or not wanting to make good connection. So this here, I'm very confident on the connection. The battery terminal back over here, of course, this is like a lead type of connector, and the reason I bought it is because that's what the original manufacturers were, lead. And of course the terminals coming off of your battery, most of the time they're lead also. But once you see my copper wire in there, and you hook that up, maybe put some lubricant in between there to make sure those 2 metals don't corrode together. And that is about it. Good luck. If you got any questions, comments, feel free to post, comment. Make sure you share and you like. Let me know your thoughts.